my channel. If you're new here, then a very big hello. My name is Louise. Don't comment on my hair down in the comments. I was feeling retro today. I was going back to the 90s and I crimped my hair and it's just gone poof. Like I haven't done this since I was probably about 6 years old. But yeah, I'm here for it. I seen Kourtney Kardashian did it, so I was like, do you know what? I've got my crimpers. I'm gonna give it a go. So I crimped my hair and I'm actually living for it. It's given it so much volume. Anyway, you haven't come here for a hair tutorial. You have come here because I thought I'd do a really fun and exciting video for you today. Now, if you didn't see, I had a travel vlog go up last Monday of my time in Kelowna. If you're new here, then me and my partner Jake moved from the UK to Canada nearly 2 years ago now, and we moved to Ontario in the Niagara Falls region, and we went on a holiday to British Columbia, Kelowna, to go and meet our friends. So our friends that moved from the UK to Canada as well, they went and set base over there in BC, and we went on a little 5-day adventure over to them to see what it was all about over there. My vlog I will leave down below. I know you guys absolutely loved it, so thank you so much if you did watch it, and hit the thumbs up and left me a comment as well. So a few people came into my inboxes and was like, what's it like over there compared to where you are? Is it similar? Because I know so many of you are finding it hard of where to move to when you come over here. When you want to immigrate, you're looking at the country and it's so big. It is so hard to choose where to live. Now, when we first booked our trip, we had no idea what it was going to be like over in Kelowna. We thought it's still Canada. We live in Canada. We thought it would be very similar, but we were so wrong. So this video is a bit of fun, and I'm going to name 10 differences between the Niagara region in Ontario to Kelowna, BC. Now, like I said, I'm not doing like the whole of Ontario versus the whole of BC, because those provinces are so big, and probably towns within those provinces are so different. So I'm specifically focusing on the Niagara region in Ontario to Kelowna in BC. So, like I said, I've chosen 10 differences today. I haven't ranked them. They're in no specific order. I'm just gonna read out differences that we notice. So, number one is gonna be the weather. Now, if you guys watch my vlogs, you know here in the Niagara region in Ontario, it is so humid. I talk about this all the time in all my vlogs, and the evenings are so hot and so humid. So 9 p.m. at night, it feels like 33 degrees because of the humidity. Like, it's ridiculous. You go outside, you walk from your door to your car and you're dripping with sweat, because the humidity is so bad. I absolutely love the heat over here, but it is extremely hot, and people don't really think of that when they move to Canada, because obviously, you know, Canada for being snowy and white, but no, their summers in some provinces are hot. So yeah, every day I would say in the summer it would probably be like 27 to 28 degrees, but then there's a section underneath that says feels like, and sometimes it like feels like 38 degrees, feels like 37 degrees because of the humidity. And in European countries, the hottest part of the day are normally like 12 and 1, and that's when you normally go away for your siesta. As over here in Ontario, your hottest part of the days are like 5 and 6 p.m, which is like the time where you want to be getting in and having your dinner, and it's just so hot. And then, yeah, I mentioned that it's really humid over here. It's humid. But over in BC, it was really hot as well. Like, we were pleasantly surprised that the heat was still there. It was still in the 30s, but it was a very different heat. It was like a dry heat. So you didn't feel like you were sweating all the time. You didn't feel like you couldn't breathe, because it was a nice dry heat that you're used to when you go on holiday to your Spains and Greeces. And it was a really nice heat, and also it got cooler in the evenings as well. So like over here in Ontario, that's like the hottest part of the day, but over there it's nice. You're getting in the evening and it's gone really cool, and yeah, it's like a nice heat. It's not a humid heat, it's a dry heat. I'm actually gonna look on my app now to compare the weather right now. So here in where I live is currently 29 degrees. The humidity is 59% and it feels like 32. Now I'm going to go over to Kelowna. So Kelowna is currently 19 degrees, but it feels like 19, and the humidity is 51%. So it seems like whatever the temperature it is, that's how it feels like. But over here, the temperature is a certain time, but it feels like a lot more because of the humidity. So you can definitely see it in those differences, but don't forget that over there is 3 hours behind us. So that's why it is slightly cooler throughout the day. It does go up to the 20s like over here. So point number 2 is the scenery. Now, Canada as a whole is just beautiful. Whatever province you go to, it just looks beautiful. We haven't been lucky enough to travel the whole of Canada yet, but it is on our bucket list. But everywhere you Google, it's honestly beautiful. And I was so surprised with how different the scenery is from over here to Kelowna, and it's just completely different. So over here in the Niagara region, it's a very flat land, like there's no like mountains. There are some amazing hikes, but when you're looking out like on the highway, for example, you can just see the lakes around you. And when you're in Niagara in the lake, you look over the water and you can see the Toronto skyline, which is honestly beautiful. Me and Jake love looking at skylines. We love going to New York, and when we went to Miami, like seeing this skyline in the distance is always so beautiful. And I love that you can see the skyline from where we are. And like I said, it's all very flat landing. There's no mountains that you can see, and it's just all lakes because we are in the horseshoe of Ontario, so you can just see the whole lake, which is beautiful. But we landed in Kelowna in the evening, so it was black, it was dark. And then when we woke up in the morning, me and Jake, we could not believe our eyes. We stepped out of the door of their house and in front of us was just mountains. Our friends described it so well. It is like you're in a bowl. So you're in a bowl of mountains, and there's this little city in the middle, Kelowna, and it is just surrounded with mountains. Everywhere you look, you're on the highway, you're on the marina, everywhere you look is mountains, and it's honestly so beautiful. And that's where it's so different. So as over here in the Niagara region, all you see is like flat land and lakes and the skyline, as over there you see mountains everywhere. You can't really see a skyline, it's more mountains. So it depends what sort of scene that you want out of your lifestyle. Do you want to be surrounded by mountains, or do you want to see a skyline? They are very two different places, and I love both of them. We love seeing a skyline and we love seeing the mountains, so it's hard to choose which one I prefer because they're both beautiful views. So please correct me on this next one if I'm wrong, but I think this is right. But my third point is going to be about the lakes. Now, the water is so different in both lakes. Obviously, we've been swimming over here in the lakes, and we went over there and swam in the lakes. And for us, the water seemed so different. So over here, I feel like the water is a lot more salty. It's like salted water, as over there, it's fresh water. So please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that is correct. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think the lakes over here on the Niagara region are like 100% salt water, but I do believe there is some salt water in the lakes, as over there it's like fresh water. When you come out of the water, your skin feels definitely a lot different than when you are in the lakes over here. So yeah, that's just a little point that I wanted to bring up. So point 4 is going to be the accent. Now, I feel like I've got used to the accent over here in the Niagara region, and when I went over there, I thought it was just going to be exactly the same. I wouldn't really notice it. Like a lot of my work friends said, they don't really notice that I have an accent anymore because you just get used to it when you're around it every single day. But when we were over there walking through like the Kelowna little town, the high street, and people were talking, I noticed a difference. Like when people were talking, I was looking over and I was like, I haven't heard that accent before. And I'm trying to use an example of the accent, but it's so hard. But the way I kind of see it is their accent is a little bit more like LA, California accent. It's a little bit more high pitched. And it's so hard to compare it to something because in my head it sounds different, but it's just hard to articulate why it sounds different. But it is definitely so different. Like, I wish I could record someone saying something over this side and over that side and just play them next to each other so you guys can hear. But there is definitely a difference in the accent. I don't know if it's because we are closer to like New York and their accent is very different to the other, like LA and California, which is next to them over in Kelowna. I don't know what it is, but I just had to let you know that the accent is definitely different. It's more higher pitched. Yeah, that was my 4th point. So point number 5, Jake wanted to add this in here. I'm not really into like cars and petrol and gas prices, but he told me I had to put it in here because of the people that are. But gas over there is so much more expensive than it is over here. We drove past a number of gas places and we couldn't believe the prices, and our friends that were over there said that's just normal prices over there. But I wrote it down so I didn't get it wrong. But it's averaged at 1.54 a litre, which is 25 to 40 cents more than here in Niagara. Now, I don't know what it is here in Niagara. Like I said, I never fill up our car. Jake does it, he goes to Costco. But he said it's near enough 40 cents more expensive than here in Ontario, which is, if that's something you want to keep in mind, then that's the cost of living over there. Cost of living over there is a lot more expensive, so you can see why the fuel prices are more expensive as well. So number 6 is just the lifestyle over there. So I've noticed just from being out on the marina all day on one of the days, going paddleboarding and going on the scooters around the town, the lifestyle is so different. It is like the people have like an LA lifestyle, like on the marina front, on like rollerblades and stuff. Like I don't really see that here. Now I know people do go rollerblading, there's groups and stuff, but it's nowhere near as much as it is over in Kelowna. And I also felt like an Australian vibe over there as well, which was weird because my friend actually said a lot of Australians go over to that side because they like to go skiing in the winter and then they go home surfing in the summer over there. But it's weird, like a lot of the boys had like the long blonde hair, like a surfery type of style. So yeah, it's a cross between like the LA vibe and an Australian vibe, like put together. It is very different to over here. I don't really know what the vibe is over here. Maybe because I've been here since we've landed and I had nothing to compare it to in the first place, that I've just kind of got used to the vibe around here, and that's why I can't notice it. But I'd love people that live the other side and have visited over here, like what is the vibe over here? Let me know in the comments. Like for me, looking into Kelowna, it was a very LA Australian vibe, but what is it over here? Like I don't know, maybe I'm just used to it, that's why I haven't spotted it. But I can't tell what it is, so let me know in the comments if you think that we've got like a vibe over here. Okay, the next point is alcohol. So they don't have LCBOs over there. So an LCBO over here in Ontario is the liquor, I'm actually gonna look it up so I don't get it wrong. The Liquor Control Board of Ontario. So yeah, they don't have that because they're not Ontario, but basically it's all of the licensed places to buy alcohol. So like in the UK, I think everywhere's licensed to buy alcohol because there's every little street corner shop where you can buy alcohol. But here in Ontario, you have to go to an LCBO to buy your liquor. They do have beers and wines in Walmart, Zehrs and Sobeys, like supermarkets, but they don't have spirits. So you have to physically go to an LCBO to get that, and they are closed on like holiday dates, and they're closed early on Sundays. As in the UK, you can literally go anywhere at any time to buy alcohol at corner shops. So yeah, over here is the LCBO. Over there isn't an equivalent of it. There's not like an LBCBC or whatever, like you get what I mean. It is liquor stores where you can only buy liquor in those stores, but they're called all different things. There's not one certain brand that sells it on the whole province. Like there'll be like alcohol jacks or liquor prices, or like there's like loads of different stores that sell them, and they're all called something different. So there's not just the whole chain of LCBO, it's completely different. So point number 8 is going to be the wildlife. Now over here I have mentioned in many vlogs of the wildlife difference between here and the UK, but over here we have a lot of skunks because you can smell them. If you can't see them, but you can definitely smell them, especially if you leave your window open when you go to sleep. You'll get woken up by the smell of skunks. We have a lot of black squirrels. We also have raccoons. I haven't seen a beaver yet, but we also have like badgers, and not necessarily like huge animals down here in like the Niagara region. But over in Kelowna, BC, when we went on hikes, there were definitely lots of different like warning bears, like make sure you have your bell and your bear spray and all of that. I have never seen one of those signs over here in the Niagara region. So it is definitely a different wildlife. Obviously you can get moose over there, bears. And then when we brought up to our friends that there's skunks, they said they've never ever smelled a skunk, which is very weird because we smell it in the summer like all the time. Like there's so many that get run over and the smell's there for 2 weeks, but they've never smelled one. So maybe they're not as popular over there. Obviously this is all my own opinion. I haven't backed this up by facts. This is just what I experienced in both places. They also said they get black squirrels. And yeah, so maybe it's like a bigger animals in Kelowna than over here in Niagara with the moose and the bears, but yeah, we definitely don't have them, and then they don't have skunks. So yeah, just thought I'd point that out. So point number 9 is rust on cars. Now you're driving, I drive to work every day 6 minutes from my house to where I work, and every single car, well I'll say 8 out of 10 cars have rust on their cars. Now I don't know if this brings us back to the salted lake thing, because when there's a lot of salt in the air, that's where rust comes. But over in Kelowna, there is no rust on cars. Like me and Jake found it so hard to find a rusty car. And when I mean by rusty car, like around the wheel arch, like all of that being like chewed away by rust. There was none of that over there, but like I said, it might be because they have fresh water over there instead of salted water. I don't know. If you've got a good reason why that is, then please let me know down in the comments. But I feel like every car over here in the Niagara region is literally falling apart by rust. But over there, everyone's cars are shiny and new. But then again, it might be the LA lifestyle, so they have a lot more money, so they can be driving around these shiny cars. I don't know, but over here, I feel like a lot of cars are just driving on wheels and like the metal frames because they're literally getting chewed away by rust. Yeah, our car is definitely starting to get a lot of rust, and it's so hard to keep on top of rust. But yeah, over there we didn't see any rusty cars. I don't even remember seeing one rusty car. Well, I could take a trip down to Dollarama now and I could probably spot about 10 in that trip, and it takes 2 minutes to get there. And the 10th point I just want to add to here is the groceries, as in something that you can get in a supermarket, which you can't get over here, is cartoned milk. Not only any carton, plastic carton milk. So if you don't watch my vlogs, then you will not know, but as soon as we arrived in Canada, we found it so weird that here in Ontario you get bagged milk. I can upload a picture here of what I meant, because in the UK you buy plastic cartoned milk and it's so cheap, but over here milk's a lot more expensive and you buy it in a pack of 3 bags. You can get paper cartons, but it's cheaper to buy the 3 bags. So we were sat at our friend's house when we arrived, and he obviously asked us if we would like a cup of tea because we're British, and of course we said yes. And then he got out a carton of milk. Not paper carton, plastic carton. I was like, where did you get that from? And he looked at me weird and said, a supermarket. They don't have bagged milk over in Kelowna. They have plastic cartons, and we don't have plastic cartons over here. My head was blown. I was like, I thought the whole of Canada had bagged milk, but I was so wrong. It's actually just us, it seems to be. And I miss plastic carton milk. I hate bagged milk. So yeah, I was very jealous to say the least. But yeah, that's my 10th point, just to let you know. If you don't want bagged milk, then go over to the other side. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video. I thought it would be just a bit of fun after my trip to compare both places. Like I said, I couldn't choose a favourite between over here in the Niagara region and Kelowna. I love both of them for different reasons. If I ever had the chance to move over to that side, I would never say never, because I do absolutely love it, and if an opportunity came up over that side, me and Jake would consider it. We wouldn't rule it off. We absolutely loved the area. It was absolutely beautiful. But I just thought that would be 10 little fun things to compare to over here in the Niagara region. And I hope you enjoyed. If you liked the video, then please make sure you hit the like button. If you're new here, then hit subscribe. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!